Okay, so we're still in Matthew chapter 9. Yesterday we learned about when Jesus healed the blind and the mute. Today we're going to continue on. This is the last part of Matthew chapter 9 that we'll be in. And this is when Jesus urges the disciples to pray for workers to come out and help. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's begin. Verse 35. Jesus traveled through all the cities and villages of that area, teaching in the synagogues and announcing the good news about the kingdom. And wherever he went, he healed people of every sort of disease and illness. He felt great pity for the crowds that came because their problems were so great and they didn't know where to go for help. They were like sheep without a shepherd. So he said to his disciples, "The harvest is so great, but the workers are so few. So pray to the Lord who is in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send out more workers for the fields." So let's go down and read a little bit of commentary. And I have a New Living Translation Bible, and it has a nice commentary at the bottom, and it kind of helps us gain context on what we read. So there's just a few pieces of commentary we're going to dive into. It won't take but just a minute. Okay, the good news about the kingdom was that the promised and long-awaited Messiah had finally come. His healing miracles were a sign that his teachings were true. And if you go back in yesterday's lesson, you'll see where Jesus actually wanted his miracles, or the rumors about his miracles, to be suppressed for a period of time because he didn't want the miracles to overshadow why he was actually here, and that was to, of course, save us from our sin. So, but you'll have to go back in yesterday's lesson to get that lesson. And so that's just a little side note about his miracles. Let's continue. Let's talk about these workers. Jesus needs workers who know how to deal with people's problems. We can comfort others and show them the way to live because we have been helped with our problems by God and his laborers. You can reference that in 2 Corinthians chapter 1. And in verse 36, where Jesus said he felt great pity for the crowds that came because their problems were so great, didn't know where to turn for help, and they were like sheep without a shepherd. Well, who else said that? Ezekiel did. So you can go back in the 34th chapter of Ezekiel and see what I'm talking about. Ezekiel also compared Israel to sheep without a shepherd. That's in Ezekiel 34, verses 5 and 6. Jesus came to be that shepherd, the one who could show people how to avoid life's pitfalls. If you want a little bit more information on that, see the Gospel of John. We're in Matthew. Go see the Gospel of John, the 14th chapter. Okay, I'm sorry, 10th chapter, not 14th. Last little piece of commentary and we'll be done. Jesus looked at the crowds following him and referred them as a field ripe for harvest. Let's go back up. He said, "The harvest is so great, but the workers are so few." Many people are ready to give their lives to Christ if someone would just be willing to show them. That's why there's such a great need for teachers, Sunday school teachers in particular, who are willing to go and give some time to teach young children, the youth, and even adults. But, we need workers, is what Jesus is saying. Jesus commands us to pray that people will respond to this need for workers. Often when we pray for something, God answers our prayers by using us. Be prepared for God to use you to show another person the way to him. So in other words, if you pray for something, be ready, because the good Lord might be more than willing to send you out to make your prayer true, or come true, or to answer your prayer is what I'm trying to say. So since we're in a political environment right now, as I'm recording this, we have election day tomorrow in the U.S., and most of the time politicians try to solve problems by using other people's money, the taxpayers' money, to solve problems. Well, what Jesus is saying is be careful, because if you ask God for something, well, He might not be using other people's resources to solve that problem. He may be using you to solve that problem. So, pretty interesting. All right, that's all I got for you. God bless you today.